My guest is the far-out Mr. John Denver. How do you feel?
I feel great, Geraldo.
Well,
I feel just great.
You sing so sweetly. You know, you make everybody feel good.
Well, thank you, man. You know, I love to sing, see, and I can understand and really relate and empathize with what Shirley was saying earlier. There's a feeling that you get of by sharing yourself with people. And when it's sharing yourself, it's not a character that you're playing like you do in the movies or whatever, but going out and being yourself and being able to share yourself with somebody. See, I think that's the most beautiful thing that can happen to a person in his life, is to be able to share that with someone or with others. And that's what I try to do with my music. And see, I'm the lucky one. I get to sing the songs. So.
Like the lyric says, how right it is to care.
Exactly, yes, sir.
And that's really where your head is at, I know. 2 years ago, when we first met, you were a popular, but still you weren't in that magic circle of
rising
like
young folk
Elvis
singer.
Presley. Yeah. I met you in London, and you know, you did that benefit concert for the mentally retarded here in New York, and I'll never forget that favor. But you do so many of those. But so much has happened to you in such a relatively short time. I mean, now you have about 900 gold records between then and now. You know,
well, not quite.
How does all that affect you? I mean, the private you.
Well, the privacy is the thing that has been the hardest to deal with. I think that I am a very private person. I feel that there's so much of myself that I am exposing to people through my music, and there's an aspect of my life which I prefer to keep to myself. I choose to have whatever time I can at home with Annie and with our family and with my friends, people who are friends from before the music and having nothing to do with the music, and maybe that has led the relationship into to deeper things. But it's difficult sometimes to deal with people who come to Aspen, who want to find me, who want to sit down and talk. And I try to tell them that, you see, I would love to do that. I would love to get to know people and find out about them in the way that I'm teaching them perhaps about myself. But I have so little time at home, because so much of my work takes me everywhere and here and gone, that the time that I have to be with my friends and to learn about them and to share with them is very, very precious to me. And I mean to take full advantage of it, and that disallows being able to spend time with some people sometimes when they would like to.
When did you start your love affair with the Rockies? You know, there's a line in Rocky Mountain High, you were born in the summer of your 27th year. What happened then?
Well, I think it was a realization of finding my home. You see, my father was in the Air Force, and we traveled around a great deal. I was born in Roswell, New Mexico, and then we lived in Japan for a few years, and then we lived in Oklahoma whenever Dad was on what was called a TDY, tour of duty overseas or whatever. We would go to Oklahoma to stay with my mom's family or with my dad's family. And then we moved from Arizona to Alabama, which is when I was in the 9th grade. I started the 9th grade not knowing a single person my age, a single person in the town, having no friends, being 13 years old, totally unsure of myself. And it was a very difficult thing, and the thing that got me through that was my guitar. And so with all of that moving, and then from the time that I left home, I worked away from home every summer from when I was in high school through college. And then went on the road, so to speak, seeking fame and fortune, or to do something with my music to share myself. And for a long, long time, I didn't have a home. And when Ann and I first got married, we lived in Chicago and didn't know anybody. We just happened to be able to fall into an apartment there. And then we lived in Minneapolis for a couple of years. But when we moved to Aspen, Ann and I both felt that this is where our life is. This is where our home will be. This is where we want to raise our children.
Yeah, largely as a result of your influence, my wife and I traveled out to Aspen about a month ago.
Far out.
We went hiking, and we were in the mountains. We stayed overnight, and I remember one day it hailed, it was a snowstorm, it rained, and it was summer sunshine all in one daylight period. And the ironic thing, the thing I really have to tell you about is that the gulch was called Brooklyn Gulch.
Brooklyn
so
Gulch?
I went all that way to go back home.
That's just a little ways down from New York Creek, I believe.
That's right. It really is.
By Grizzly Reservoir, yeah.
But I wonder about the people in Colorado. You're the poet laureate. They made you the poet laureate of the state, which I thought was just really a terrific honor.
I'm not sure that was unanimous, and I'm very flattered by the honor, and there have been people who have stopped me on the streets and saying, Why don't you sing about Utah? Or something, you know. So.
I wonder if the 30-year-old mayor of Aspen doesn't come over and say, how about Colorado Springs, or
Yeah.
get them out of the...
Well, there are people in Aspen who are sort of dissatisfied with the amount of notoriety that perhaps I'm lending to that specific spot. And I don't think that is a problem that I'm creating. I think it's a very real problem. And what I've told them, see, I'm not after everybody to move to the mountains in Colorado and to destroy what we have there. I fought against the Olympics, and the people that I'm supporting now in campaigns for a government office in Colorado are people who are trying to preserve the land. And I think that the reason we want to do that is to keep a space there that people who live here in New York, or people who live in Florida, or people who live in California who have never seen the Rocky Mountains and never spent a night under the stars where there was so much starlight that you have a shadow from it, and who have never seen snow-capped mountains, that there can always be a place like that that they can go and enjoy, or they can see pictures of and enjoy, or perhaps through music of somebody's like mine, feel that they are a part of too. And that's what it's for. And I mean to preserve that and to protect it and to be sure that it's here for a long, long time. I don't want to destroy it.
Well, that film clip that we showed of the people outside your concert singing and saying how transported they were by your music, I think that really bears out exactly what you're saying.
Well, it thrills me that that happens. I love it. And it's okay with me if people want to get to know me because of my music, because through that we will get to know each other outside of that.
Okay, we'll get to know you even better in a minute when Good Night America continues.
Thanks.